Hello everyone, welcome to Online Storytime. Thank you for joining us once again. This week's stories are about apples, so our Storytime theme is an apple pie. But first, we all know today is November the 11th, it's Veterans Day, and I just wanted to let everybody know that down here at the Beale Library, we have a very special project going on this week. You can come into the library and make a card to thank a veteran, and then we will be giving them to our local veterans. We also have a big poster, so if you don't have the time to sit and make a card, you can always just come in and write a quick note on our big poster, and they'll be getting that too as well. So we hope you'll come down and take a few minutes to do that for us. And you can also go into any library that's close to you as well and do this project for your veterans as well. All right, so we're ready to get started. Okay, we're going to get started first with a little thing with our hands just to kind of get our little wiggles out. So put your hands up like this. 10 little fingers standing in a row. Wiggle them high, wiggle them low. Shake them fast, fast. See your fastest hands. I want to see fast, 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 fast. I want them to be blurs like mine. Shake them slow, nice and slow. And then fold them in your lap. And we're ready to go. All right, our first story is called Tap the Magic Tree, and it is by Christy Matheson. I really like this story. It's kind of fun. There's magic in this bare brown tree. Once, turn the page to see. So let's tap it. Just once. Tap again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. What happened when we tapped it? Do you see? What's appearing on our tree? The leaves? Now tap again, even more. Let's tap some more spots that are not yet green. Let's see what happens. More green leaves. Rub the tree to make it warm. And touch each bud and see what forms. So we're going to touch each one. See what happens. What do we have there? We don't have buds anymore. We have flowers. Give the tree a little jiggle. Give it a little jiggle. That's it. Now make your fingers wiggle. Brush away the petals, swish, and blow the tree a tiny kiss. Can you all blow the tree a tiny kiss? Just like that. Shh. What's on our tree now? Do you see what we've got on our tree now? Are those apples? Shake the tree. Shake the tree. Plop, 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 kerplop. Knock, knock on the trunk, then stop. What did shaking the tree do for our apples? Did it knock them down on the ground so that we can maybe reach them? Pat the leaves. Be gentle, please. Let's pat the leaves. Aha! Now blow a whooshing breeze. Can you all blow a whooshing breeze at our tree? Just like that. What do you think we're pretending to be when we blow a whooshing breeze? Do you think we're pretending to be the wind? Look, we are. We're pretending to be the wind. Clap your hands. Can you clap your hands? To bring the snow. We brought the snow. Okay, be patient. Wait, don't go. Close your eyes. Count to 10. So you count to 10 with me with your eyes closed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see what happens. Magic. It begins again. Let's start it all over again. Do you see our tiny little green leaves? So what do you think is going to happen next? Are we going to get our little pink flowers that are going to turn into apples? All over again. It's going to start for the tree. That's pretty neat, huh? So this tree is kind of magic. All right, that's the end of that story. Wasn't that kind of fun? With our little magic tree? All right, our next story is called Peppo and Lolo and the Red Apple by Anna Laranaga. Peppo and Lola go for a walk. You can see Peppo is a pig and Lolo is a little chick. They see a red apple. Lolo jumps to reach the apple, but it is too high. Peppo tries to reach the apple, but it is still too high. They have a plan. They really want that apple. 1, 2, 3, hop. The apple swings. Apple falls. Ouch. Oh, and it hits our little pig friend on the head. What a yummy apple. Look, who gets the leftovers? Are those the ants? They get the leftovers? The end. All right, we're going to sing a song together. We're going to use our hands and our fingers too. Okay, are we ready? Way up high in the apple tree. So put your hands over your head just like this. Make an apple tree. 2 little apples smiled at me. I shook the tree as hard as I could. Can you shake your tree? Down came the apples. They were good. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. Are you ready? Way up high in the apple tree, 2 little apples smiled at me. I shook the tree as hard as I could. Down came the apples. They were good. Is that kind of fun? I bet you if the apples fell from the tree, would they be pretty tasty? I like apples a lot. Now our next story is called Ducking for Apples. And it's by Lynn Berry. It's got 5 little ducks in it. Blue sky, sunshine, head outside. Let's ride bikes, 5 ducks decide. Training wheels, the first 2 say. 3 little ducks shout, no way. 5 bold ducks on 10 thin wheels, wobble, bobble, squeak, and squeal. 1 duck teeters, 2 ducks swerve, 3 ducks totter, 4 ducks curve. 5 little ducks now ride full steam. Can't catch us, we're the great duck team. 5 ducks slowing climb a hill. Huff, puff, huff, puff, huff, until 5 ducks reaching for the sky soar downhill as the wind whips by. Windswept ducklings coast to a stop at a rock by a tree with a snack on top. Yippee! Apples, 2 ducks call. Stack up, 5 ducks tall. 1 little duck at the top of the stack reaches tiptoe for the snack. 1 little duckling still so high picks more apples for a pie. And picks more apples for a cake. But 8 skinny duck legs start to quake. Uh-oh, what do you think is going to happen to our little stack of ducks? Do you know? Hurry, hurry, 4 ducks shout. Too late, duck legs all give out. Ducks stack crumbles, apples tumble. I'm still hungry, 4 ducks grumble. 1 little duck says, scoot around, gather apples from the ground. Ducks scoop apples, oops, some spill. Ducks walk bikes back up the hill. Ducks zip homeward, coast and break. Tramp inside and start to bake. 3 little ducks cut fruit in slices, mix with sugar, toss with spices. 2 little ducks press sticky dough down in the dish where the fruit will go. So they're working on making a pie. Ducklings bake their apple treat, Top with whipped cream. Eat, ducks, eat. 5 ducks lick 5 sticky beaks, sticky fingers, and sticky cheeks. And full of pie and full of cream, ducks drift off to sweet duck dream. We had a pretty busy day getting those apples. All right. Well, I know a pretty fun song about ducks. Do you want to sing it with me? You have to get your ducks out. Did you know you had ducks at your house? I bet you didn't know that. Well, if you reach inside your pocket, I'll bet you'll find your ducks. And you'll probably have 3 of them in there. Do you see them? Can you show me your 3 ducks? These little ducks like to go on adventures. So we're going to sing a song about these 3 little ducks going on adventures. You ready? 3 little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother duck said, quack, 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 quack. But only 2 little ducks came back. 2 little ducks went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother duck said, quack, 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 quack. But only, how many ducks do we have now? 1 little duck came back. 1 little duck went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother duck said, quack, 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 quack. But none of her little ducks came back. Oh, what happened? No little ducks. So what now? Sad Mother Duck went out one day over the hills and far away. Mother Duck said, quack, 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 quack. You have to be a sad Mother Duck. Can you make a crying face like a sad Mother Duck? And all 3 of her ducks came back. Did you know you had 3 little ducks and they came? Did they come back too? Okay, put them back in your pocket so they don't get lost. And we'll go on to our next story. Are you ready? It's called A Fishing Surprise, and it's by Ray McDonald. Sunny day, lays and play, toss the line, it's fishing time. Worms a-wiggling, lots of giggling, holding tight, bobbers in sight. We're hungry for fish tonight. So this little boy and girl are going to try to catch fish so that they can have it for dinner tonight. Out of view, breezes blew, apples dropped, plip, kerplop. Slish and slosh, apples wash, happily quackily, bobbling happily. Spin and swirl, fish twirl, bibbity bop, frogs hop. Stream hushes in the rushes. Heron wades, apples parade. Eyes on the water, sun feeling hotter, sitting fishing, mostly wishing. Still hungry for fish tonight. This little boy and girl are having to wait a very long time to catch some fish. I think they're getting kind of impatient and hot. Suddenly, look and see, what's that floating? Apples boating. Hurry, scurry, what a flurry, follow the trail, fill up the pail. Nets dip, apples slip, water dripping, feet a-slipping. Nets so full, buckets to pull, rest a while, walked a mile. So they've given up looking for fish, trying to catch fish, and they have gone instead and filled up their pails with lots and lots of apples. Overhead, green and red, tree, it was you. Thank you, doodle-dee-doo. Fishing done, time to run. Ho, hey, what'll they say? Did you catch any fish today? Did they catch any fish? No. But what did they catch? Lots of apples? We'll sing and shout and haul our catch out. We'll yell, surprise, no fish to fry. We're hungry for apple pie. And, well, you really can't have apple pie for dinner, but we'll have to come up with something else for dinner, but it'll make a really good dessert. Okay, I have a kind of fun trick to show you. Can you all tell me what shape this apple is? I have an apple here. It's a circle, right? Or it's a sphere since it's 3-dimensional. But did you know that this apple is kind of magical because it has a special shape inside. If you cut it in half, not from the top to the bottom, but sideways, you can find a secret shape inside. So I'm going to cut it in half. Sorry if it's a little loud. I'll show you. Do you see what shape that is inside? It's a star. Did you know there was a star inside of your apples? I bet you didn't know that. So, and did you know that you can do all sorts of fun things besides eat this delicious apple? You can put paint on this apple and make prints on a paper with it and make little star-shaped prints. And like I said, you can also eat it because it's very yummy and very healthy for you. So, but you remember when you cut something, you have to ask a grown-up to help you cut it because knives can be very sharp and can hurt you. All right, we will go on to our next story now that we know how special our apples are and how they have cool secret shapes inside, and learn about Apple Farmer Annie by Monica Wellington. Annie is an apple farmer. She has a big orchard of apple trees. In the fall, she picks baskets and baskets of round, ripe apples. She grows many kinds of apples. She sorts and organizes them. Annie uses some of the apples to make sweet apple cider. She uses others to make delicious, smooth applesauce. She loves baking muffins, cakes, and pies with her apples. But she saves the most beautiful ones of all to sell fresh at the market. She loads everything into her truck and drives to the city. Annie, the apple farmer, sets up her stand in the farmer's market. Lots of customers come to Annie's stand. She is busy all day long. By the end of the day, she has sold everything. She packs up to go home. Annie is tired but happy. It feels so good to have her own apple farm. And I bet it's a lot of hard work for Annie. Did you know in our town we have lots of different places you can get apples? Besides your grocery store, we have lots of different farmers markets too, and we have lots of farms in the mountains near us where you can go with your family to pick apples from the trees, just like Annie's picking the apples from her trees at her farm. And sometimes that can be a lot of fun to go and do as a family. And a lot of hard work too. But then you get to make yummy treats just like Annie got to make with her apples. Okay, our next story is called Odd Dog. And it's by Claudia Bolt. And you might be wondering, apples and a dog? That seems kind of silly. And I'll bet you it's a pretty funny story. Peanut was an odd dog. Unlike all the other dogs, he did not care for bones, but he loved apples. His apple tree was his pride and joy. Peanut loved the apples from his tree so much that he was always worried that his neighbor Milo was plotting to steal them. At night, Peanut dreamed about his apple tree. Sometimes he would wake up so worried that he couldn't get back to sleep. And sometimes he would have nightmares that Milo had found a way to steal one of the apples, or even worse, all of them. Do you think his neighbor Milo wants his apples? Do you think that other dog wants his apples? So he counted them every morning just to make sure. One day, disaster struck. The juiciest apple of all was just about to fall into Milo's garden. There was no time to lose. Do you see it there? It's going to fall, but it's going to fall on Milo's side of the fence. Peanut tried everything, but with no luck. Milo's going to get my best apple, just like he always gets everything, Peanut thought. It's not fair. Peanut was feeling dreadfully sorry for himself when all of a sudden, what's happening to the apple? It's falling off the tree. Oh no! The apple fell. Clang! The apple landed in Milo's bowl. But instead of eating the apple, Milo said, "Here you go, Peanut. This apple looks very ripe and juicy, and I know how much you love them." Peanut was very surprised. "Oh," he said, "thank you. Would you like a bite?" "No, thank you very much," said Milo. "I don't really like apples. I love bones." Peanut wanted to thank Milo for returning the apple, so he invited him for a picnic. And from that day on, they were the very best of friends. So that worked out pretty well for Peanut. His dog friend likes bones and he likes apples, so he gets to keep all his apples and then he can give his bones to Milo. And then they get to both be happy. All right, we have one more story and then we're going to do a song together before we go. And this one's called Seed by Seed, and it's actually a story about Johnny Appleseed.
Comments to local history, please. Comments to local history.
Tall buildings, stores and parking lots, buses and cars speeding by, red lights and green lights and yellow lights and white lights. Our country is hard and electrical and moving, but it was not always this way. Once it was a tangle of roots and branches and wide tree trunks. Once you could not hear the engines of airplanes in the sky or the sounds of phones ringing. Maybe you could catch the creaking of a wagon wheel straining against the ruts in the road, or the fall of an axe against the wood. The bark of a dog, the crackle of a campfire, the chattering of squirrels, the pecking of sapsucker, the slapping of water against a riverbank, or the sound of a play of leaves turning silver gray, green in the breeze. A shh-like whisper, secrets for the bees to carry off. The moon shone on the snow until the land glowed like a pearl. The stars glinted in the sky and the candles flickered from their lamps. And in this quiet, tree-bough-tangled world, the world before the cement was poured and the lights turned on, there lived a man of his time, John Chapman, better known as Johnny Appleseed. The tales of Johnny Appleseed are 3 parts legend, 1 part fact. Stories we are not sure are true, but the man John Chapman was real. He was born on September 26, 1774 in Massachusetts. He never drove a car or sent a basketball flying through a hoop. He never acted in front of a camera, and he never wore a medal. He grew apples and offered them to the pioneers heading west. But wait, so what? A farmer. Why should we remember him today, more than 200 years later, and call him a hero? I will whisper the answer to you, a secret, silver gray green. He lived by example. That means he was a good person, and that we should be good persons just like him. And of the many footsteps he took across the frontier in his bare and knobby feet, he left for us to fill. Use what you have, share what you have, respect nature, try to make peace where there is war, and you can reach your destination by taking small steps. No one is certain why he began the work of planting apple trees. He claimed the spirits and angels told him to be a messenger of peace and to grace the way to the west with an offering of fruit. What do we know is that by doing the small act of planting seeds every day, Johnny Appleseed changed the landscape of our nation, seed by seed, deed by deed. What examples did he plant for us? Use what you have. Most apples around the start of the 19th century were grown for making cider. John Chapman started his nurseries of apple trees by obtaining apple seeds from owners of cider presses in western Pennsylvania who were just going to throw the seeds away. Chapman dressed in coffee and potato sacks or wore used clothing that was given to him by people trading for his trees. Some say he carried his tin cooking pot on his head like a hat. He had a style all his own. So he kind of looks silly because he's wearing this pot on his head. But it's just his way of carrying it around because he didn't have a suitcase. Share what you have. Chapman was rich in coin and rich in friends. He sold and traded trees to pioneers, but if a person could not afford them, Chapman would still allow that person to take saplings and pay when and if he or she was able. Chapman had 11 brothers and sisters, and they helped one another out when they could. Besides his love of apples, Chapman also had strong affection for reading, especially books by a religious man named Emanuel Swedenborg. He preached love and tolerance and faith. It is said that John Chapman used his open shirt as a pouch to carry his books. It is also said that he ripped books into chapters in order to circulate them between settlers. He liked to gather children and their families around him and delight them with a story time. News right fresh from heaven in his way. He was the frontier's first librarian. So he liked to share books with families and children, just like I'm sharing books with you right now. John Chapman lived most of his life outdoors. He was a vegetarian and also had a vast knowledge of herbs and their uses. Besides planting apples, John Chapman liked to plant fennel, and he believed that it had medicinal powers. In some parts of the country, the fast-spreading plant is still called Johnnyweed. It is said that he lived in peace with animals. Legend has it that he released a wolf from a trap, and for a long time afterwards, the wolf tamely followed him wherever he went. Once he slept at one end of a log with a bear and her cub at the other. Another time, when he noticed that his campfire was singeing the wings of mosquitoes, he doused the flames in order to save the insects. When he saw that an animal was being abused, he would buy that animal, nurse it back to health, and find it a good home. The only animal he was known to have killed was a rattlesnake, though he acted in self-defense. He was said to have always felt badly for having taken that life. The Native Americans respected him for his spiritual bond with his surroundings, his kinship with all that grew and lived. John Chapman moved freely between Native Americans and pioneer communities, and he was trusted by both. He wanted each side of others' impending attack, usually walking through a room and reciting a mysterious rhyme. John Chapman journeyed hundreds of miles across state lines on his own 2 feet or by canoe on the waterways, planting and maintaining his tree nurseries over 100,000 square miles. His trees flowered and fruited across the Ohio River Valley, and they were shared and carried off to homesteads far and wide. He grew so many apple trees that chances are any apple you eat today is from a descendant of a tree planted by Johnny Appleseed. That's pretty cool, right? So any apple we eat probably came from one of his trees. After catching pneumonia during an especially cold winter in 1845, John Chapman passed away. His sweet spirit lives on in the apples we eat and in the seeds we plant to make our country and our world a better place. Seed by seed, deed by deed, Johnny Appleseed changed the landscape of a nation, and now it's your turn. One small deed every day. What seed will you plant? The end. All right. We're going to sing a song together before we go, and it's to the tune of Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush. We're going to change the words to Here We Go Round the Apple Tree. Are you ready? Here we go round the apple tree, the apple tree, the apple tree. Here we go round the apple tree on this autumn morning. Okay, so everybody, we're going to shake the apple tree. So can you show me how you shake an apple tree? This is the way we shake the tree, shake the tree, shake the tree. This is the way we shake the tree on this autumn morning. This is the way we climb the ladder, climb the ladder, climb the ladder. This is the way we climb the ladder on this autumn morning. This is the way we pick the apples, pick the apples, pick the apples. This is the way we pick the apples on this autumn morning. This is the way we eat the apples, eat the apples, eat the apples. This is the way we eat the apples on this autumn morning. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us for online story time. Next week, we'll be reading books about being thankful since we're getting closer to Thanksgiving. I hope you will join us, and I hope you'll come into your library, any library near you, and make a card for your veteran so that we will have lots and lots of love to show our veterans this week. And thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Bye.